Let's set the scene. It's after 1 a.m. A young boy lies in bed, eyes fixed on the glowing numbers of the clock. He doesn't want to fall asleep. The house is too quiet, too still. Just as he starts to turn toward the wall, his mother's voice calls out from down the hall, firm, familiar, final, "Leave that door open." It isn't a rule born from attitude or defiance. It comes from something much older. It's history. Quiet, unwritten history passed down from mother to daughter, father to son, generation after generation. Scope News does a deep dive. Because in Black households across America, that open door at night isn't superstition. It's survival. And the deeper you dig, the clearer the pattern becomes. When your life has never been fully protected by the law, you learn to protect your children with whatever you have, even if it's just keeping a door open. Let's take it back to the 1840s, deep in the South, before the Civil War, before Reconstruction, before Black people were even counted as whole human beings under law. Enslaved families huddled in dirt floor cabins, trying to rest their bodies after 12, 13, sometimes 15 hours in the fields. But rest didn't mean peace, and nighttime didn't mean safety. Because white men didn't knock. They came when they pleased. Sometimes it was the slave owner. Sometimes it was an overseer. Sometimes it was a patroller searching for runaways. And when they entered, they didn't care who was sleeping. Doors, if they existed, were not honored. They were kicked open. Children were yanked from beds. Mothers had to watch. Fathers couldn't stop it. The WPA slave narratives, collected nearly a century later, preserved the raw memories of those nights. One woman, Fannie Moore, born into slavery in South Carolina in 1849, remembered what it was like to try and sleep while being owned. "They used to take chillin' out to bed and beat them. We used to be so scared we couldn't sleep, had to keep one eye open." That's not folklore. That's firsthand truth. And it was passed down not just in words, but in behaviors, in instincts, in survival techniques. Don't sleep too deep. Don't lock the door. Don't assume you're safe just because it's your home. Those rules didn't die with slavery. They evolved. After emancipation, Black families entered Jim Crow America with freedom on paper and danger in practice. The night still wasn't safe. In Springfield, Illinois, 1908, a white mob rampaged through Black neighborhoods. Homes were burned. Black residents were dragged from their houses. Scott Burton was lynched. William Donegan, an elderly Black man, was attacked in his own home. Families fled in the darkness, children clutching adults, some escaping through back doors and alleys as fires lit the sky. Then came Detroit in 1925. Dr. Ossian Sweet, a Black physician, moved his family into a white neighborhood. That very night, a mob gathered outside his house. Sweet had grown up in the South and had witnessed racial violence firsthand, including a Black man burned alive by a mob. He knew what nighttime crowds meant. He armed himself, shots were fired, a man died. The trial made national headlines, but Black families took note of something else. You could be targeted in your own home, after dark, simply for existing. Closed doors didn't stop mobs. They didn't stop police. They didn't stop terror. But an open door could mean a parent heard something sooner. A sibling saw movement. Someone had seconds, precious seconds, to act. That instinct didn't die with Jim Crow. It followed Black families into the modern era. In 2023, a 14-year-old boy named Jaheim was forcibly removed from his home in Gulfport, Mississippi by police who claimed he matched a vague description. No warrant, no clear explanation. His family watched as strangers entered their space and took their child. The door was open, and still they came. Now imagine if the door had been closed. Imagine not seeing it happen, not hearing it unfold, not being able to respond. This is why many Black parents sleep light, why shoes are kept by the bed, why a closed door can feel like a risk instead of a comfort. Not because of paranoia, because of preparation. Preparation shaped by a country that has never guaranteed black children's safety by default. Preparation shaped by grandparents who remembered night riders, by great-grandparents who remembered the whip, by ancestors who never got to say goodbye when their child was taken while they slept. That door rule, the one you heard as a child, the one that got on your nerves, wasn't about control. It was about access, response time, surveillance without saying the word. It was about knowing that safety had to be built from scratch, one cracked door at a time. And when your mama said, "Don't close that door," what she meant was, "I'm still watching over you, even when the world won't." That's why the death of Breonna Taylor still sits heavy in the bones of Black America. She may have been an adult, but she was still someone's daughter, still someone's baby girl. And she died the same way so many of our fears begin, asleep in her bed, behind a closed door, in what was supposed to be the safety of home. Police burst in without warning, and within seconds, she was gone. No chance to run, no voice to scream, no mother to pull her close. Her death was not just modern police violence. It was a haunting echo of everything Black parents have feared for centuries. That not even rest can protect our children from a world that never wanted them to feel safe in the first place. Scope News tells the truth. Here are the facts. Fannie Moore's testimony comes from the WPA slave narratives collected by the Library of Congress between 1936 and 1938. The Springfield Race Riot of 1908 was documented by the Springfield, Illinois State Register, NAACP records, and contemporary newspaper accounts. Dr. Ossian Sweet's 1925 case was widely covered by the Detroit Free Press and remains archived in the Burton Historical Collection. J. Himes' 2023 incident in Gulfport, Mississippi was reported by local and national media. Breonna Taylor was killed in March 2020 during a police raid in Louisville, Kentucky, an event confirmed by body cam footage, grand jury hearings, and Department of Justice investigations. These cases are verified, documented, and part of the public historical record. Legal disclaimer. This content is presented for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes. Viewer discretion is advised. While every effort has been made to ensure historical accuracy, some experiences may be underrepresented due to archival limitations, media bias, and the historical suppression of Black narratives. This video essay reflects documented history and cultural memory, and does not assert legal conclusions or intent. Thank you for watching Scope News.